This week's Parshas Va'era. Hashem promises the Eden, He's going to take them out of Galus. There's going to be the Makkahs. They're going to get out of this. So we know there's four Lashonos of Geula, four expressions Hashem uses to describe the Geula. So there's the Hitzesi, Eschem Mitachas Simras Mitzrayim. I'll take you out from the oppression of the Mitzrayim. Then there is V'hitzalti Eschem V'das. I'll take you out of the work. V'ga'alti Eschem. I'll redeem you. And the fourth one is V'lakachti Eschem Nila. I'll take you for my nation. And this is really four levels altogether of Galus and the corresponding Geula. So Hashem points out that in order to reach real Geula, there had to be a stage where the Galus of the body, the physical Galus, ended. And once the physical Galus ended, it became a Galus of the nefesh, of the soul, of the spirit. That's when they were able to eventually go out of that Galus. Because while they were physically working, they were still ba'avidosom, sivlos Mitzrayim, when they were imagining Geula, all they were thinking about was not having to work hard, not having to getting whipped by a Mitzri, finding bricks easier. And their prayers for Geula were physical prayers of just not having this hard work that they never had to go through. But eventually, when the hard work ended, the Medrash says, like when the beginning of the Makkahs, the hard work ended, or a bit later on, but there was definitely a stage before the Geula where the physical work ended, but they were still in Galus. As Hashem says, that was the most important point, and only from that were they able to get to Galus, to Geula, because then they were able to realize what they were really lacking. What they were really lacking was V'lakachti eschem nila'am, the final stage of Geula, to be Hashem's people, to be connected to Hashem and to the real meaning of what it means to be alive. Because if you think about nowadays, it's really fascinating. If we go back 100 years, when a Yid was davening, 100 years, 200 years, when a Yid was davening for Mashiach, for Geula, what would he think about? He would think about he should have food. The pirates shouldn't prosecute him. They shouldn't have the goy shouldn't throw stones at him. And people had so many physical problems. They lived in ghettos. The illness was rampant. People poor and poverty-stricken. And they lived among hostile people. So when they were davening with Yerushalayim Urcha, when they were davening for Geula, all they were thinking about was they should have peace. Of course, they were thinking about Geula as well, but what really dominated their day-to-day lives, the Galus that they had, was a physical Galus. Nowadays, Baruch Hashem, physically, we don't Galus anymore already. Baruch Hashem, there's shefa, there's food, people have there's money around, and even you could say people living in Eretz Yisrael already. Physically, we're living in Eretz Yisrael. So what's lacking? What's lacking is the connection, this nefesh, the Galus on nefesh, that is stronger than ever. So if we really realize that what we need is Geula of the soul, what we need in our lives is to connect to our deeper meaning. To imagine if when we could daven and mamash feel like we're talking to Hashem. Imagine when we learn a piece of Torah and we mamash realize we're learning the Chachma of Hashem in this world. And we feel Shabbos and we do a favor for another Yid and we mamash feel like what it means an neshama of one Yid connecting with an neshama of another Yid. Imagine just feeling the Shekhinah, feeling Hashem's presence in this world. That's what we're lacking. We're lacking emotional Galus, psychological, spiritual. That's what we are holding at the stage where the physical Galus is kind of over. The world is at peace. There's poverty is almost gone. You can look at the UN statistics. It's almost a stage of Geula in a physical sense, but in an emotional, spiritual sense, we're far from it. And there's lots of Torah, of course, in the world. There's lots of Chesed in the world, Baruch Hashem, but a lot of it is in a physical sense. What's lacking is mamash the soul, the connection, the meaning, and the mamash the beauty of it, the soul of everything. So as Hashem, we should mamash envision ourselves. We should envision the world as a more connected, soulful place, and that will be the tefillah to bring the Geula. Because now we can really focus on what we're really lacking. And as Hashem should hear our tefillahs and we should mamish people kachti eschem ila vevesi eschem ela aretz from here we made it. Amen. Shabbos.